Hello, everybody. Bobby Francis here for Full Tilt Weather. We're going to talk about the event expected Monday and Tuesday, the 23rd and the 24th. This is the 3 km run for what's expected. As you can see, formations expected right around Wichita Falls with the first line moving along. Be this line here, and then a reinforcing line coming behind it. The first line could have some severe in it. The second line looks a lot more severe. Right now, it's moving out to about 1 o'clock at night, with the line expected to be right along I-35 in the central part of Texas. So we'll go ahead and we'll look at some of the model runs here. This is the NAM medium range model. We're going to run through the reflectivity run for it here real quick. This is your Monday. Storms firing right around Magnum, Oklahoma, down to south of Florida, Texas, basically. Moving along, becomes a stronger line from just northeast of San Antonio into the northern part of Texas. This is your primary rain line right here. We're talking there could be some severe here, but this doesn't have the world's greatest chance to be severe. But given the outlook for the area, there probably will be a couple of severe warnings. Tornado warning possible, but not supremely likely. And then about 7 o'clock at night, secondary line fires right about here. Oh, this is the nest. I was fixing to say, this don't look like the standard NAM. Expected to reach from around basically Abilene to into parts of Mexico. Line strengthens, moving to around I-35. And that will continue more than likely. The threat will continue for this line right along I-20 to I-10 all the way into Mississippi. So we're talking southern Arkansas, Mississippi, right along I-10 right here. All of this area. Between Tuesday and Wednesday. So early Tuesday morning, maybe into some of extremely early morning Wednesday. This is going to be a multiple day line. And this is the standard NAM. We can go out a little bit further because this is 80 or 84. This is the 84 runs. Some of the NAMs only go to 80, some go to 84. So here's that first line. Second line builds right along I-35. It thinks its structure's more out about I-35. Then that line continues all the way into parts of Alabama. Into Thursday. Okay, Wednesday. It'd be Wednesday, yeah. Because Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah. So 26 hours possible severe line. The actual numbers of this is our runs from our NAM nest right now, showing the low right about Lubbock, Texas at this point, just a little bit north of Lubbock, creating southwesterly, pushing back along the line right here. You can see all the strong southwesterly. Southwesterly is one thing that's usually occurred more, oh wow, I can't get my words together. Usually more associated with tornadic production. So as you can see right in here, this is that first line. Some of this severe down below, there may not be a lot of formation. So this is like a 50-50 area. But up through here, you're getting all this jet moving down right along here, because your low setting that's feeding the shear That is the snow line that's going to be going through Colorado through the night tonight. This low is expected to be setting right about Michigan at this point, right over the Great Lakes. It's according to the time frame in between Minnesota and Michigan, feeding stronger southwesterly. You can see it right here through the model. And anywhere in this line, you can have them isolated 60 mile per hour wind threats. Since your formation's only going to go from about right in here, like south of Tulsa, down to around south of, let's say, Austin, southeast of Austin. So that's going to be a primary area for that. That's not going to be the super severe, but then you can see the model begins to really kick into a super severe scenario. We're going to take a run from right here. This is the highest possibility run currently. That's going to be about San Antonio. Right about San Antonio. 2700 megajoule cape. We're talking discretes at this point. Buoyancy issue. Model thinks it's on the ground due to the slink. CIN's 25, so it's negative push because it's listing it on the ground. You're having shear move up to about 28,000 feet. Southwestern leads about 48 to 51 mile an hour southwesternly. Definitely a tornado threat. No question. The model thinks this is a tornado on the ground. There's a lot of signs that lead to that. Your slink moving in a different degree here. Your CINH moving up so high. That Cape bracket is the bracket the larger tornadoes in the world occur. I'm not really going to say any names, but 2700 megajoule Cape is about the ceiling for super large style tornadoes. That don't mean that that's going to occur. There's definitely a tornado threat. Some of these could be large. Just having the Cape doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have, a 2 mile wide tornado. That doesn't mean that. But the brackets are within the possibility of that maybe occurring. And another issue is the level of free convection's moving up, so we can tell that it believes it's on the ground. There's your slink showing it on the ground. Model thinks it's on the ground. Okay, so we'll move up. This is East Texas. This is pretty well close to my home. This is about Palestine, Anderson County, Houston County, maybe Cherokee County, right in that area somewhere. This model run's not going to be quite as effective as the second one, as the one we just looked at, for two reasons. Number one is, you see here we have 914 megajoule Cape and a negative 66 CIN. So there's a lot of convective inhibition here. No buoyancy issue. Southwesternly still about 46 mile an hour. There's still a tornado threat here. It's not near as high as the other model. Slink thinks it could be on the ground, but a lot of the other scenarios here show it's not on the ground. There could be tornadoes that far up into the northeastern part of Texas. That is a possibility through the night. This is not nearer of a convincing tornado run as the other run was that we looked at a minute ago. But that threat will continue, because the main thing is you're dealing with large amounts of southwesterly shear. So anything that can go up could show rotation. It's according to the bracket the shear's in, and right here is where we're looking at most of that. Our left bunker is our southwesterly flow, and as you can see, the 1K and the 6K AJL wind barbs right now are showing southwesterly downward flow occurring at the lower part of the cell. It's definitely a hotbed run. More than likely wrapped in rain, because you see the dew points moving very far over to the left side of the SKU-T. So you're dealing with large amounts of precip occurring in this very small amount of cape, because this is more than likely a smaller rain-wrapped tornado scenario, pretty close to around midnight. Now we move over to the NAM, and we're going to take a couple runs off of the standard NAM runs. And as you can see, it expects this to continue all the way into Alabama and Mississippi to become a hot spot towards the afternoon, Wednesday afternoon through the night. And it to kind of die out as the sun comes up into the eastern part of Texas, and it to slow down as it moves through the portions of eastern Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and into Mississippi over the daytime area, but still be possibly tornadic. We'll talk a little bit more about, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi whenever we get 3KM runs and nest runs more for this, where we can dissect this more than just off of one model, because currently we're only using the American long-range models and the NAM medium-range models. So having numerous models backing to create a trending for what's going to happen in the rest of Dixie Alley is definitely something that's needed before you start going to a full forecast with that. So we're going to mainly cover Texas here. Same thing. This is going to be out in hill country. This is kind of south of Stephenville area. PDS runs, what SCARs were saying, 2200 megajoule. Southwesternly's equating to 51 mile an hour southwesternly. Thinks it's on the ground. You can see the ground tip right here. Shear moving up to about 29 to 31,000 feet. Yeah, that same little flip, the same 77-degree twist and storm slink. That's more than enough cape to get a large tornado on the ground. This is a possibility. Same thing remains. And the CHIN showing the same thing here at about 24. So there's definitely a negative push. You can see it right here in the inhibition lights. We're going to go back and we're going to take another pull off the NAM. So this is a little bit south of home. This is going to be about Huntsville. Same thing here. Model thinks 2.5-inch hail. This is more your hail because you're having horizontal rotation occurring between 81,000 and about 18,000 feet. So hail core is possible. You're dealing with 1217 megajoule cape. Southwesternly is really aggressive in this run. We're talking 57 mile an hour. It's a little too strong. And that's definitely being equated right here as what's occurring on ground level. No buoyancy issues. Everything's straight up to around the 500 millibar area through here. Definitely possible tornado. That's going to be what all of these runs are showing, guys. Guys, girls, ladies, whoever. There is definitely a possible tornado threat through the night, Tuesday into Wednesday. This is a definite possible threat. Now, whenever you deal with a possible threat in the world of weather, that can change at any point, and things can turn out a little bit better than what the models are expecting, but the models are trending towards an extremely dangerous possible night, Tuesday night. We've already made plans. We will be in the car that night. I will definitely be chasing Tuesday night, and more than likely Wednesday into Mississippi. Looks like a pretty dangerous scenario. We really haven't seen anything this explosive since the March 21st outbreak that occurred earlier this year, producing, 15, 16 tornadoes out of central Texas. Really hasn't been a large tornado threat. Georgia dealt with one later in the early part of May, but them have really only been the only two big setups where tornadoes really looked possible this year. So looking at it overall, this is a really rare scenario. And the reason this is occurring is because we're reinforcing moisture out of the tropical invest coming across Mexico. You're adding the higher shear from the low that at this point is occurring right around Mississippi, Minneapolis, and you can see it begin to bow and strengthen because there's double barrel lows right here, and that's sending your shearing down around the Thunder Bay area down along the line, and that's your tornadic probability there. But thank you everybody for watching. This wound up being an extremely long video because this is an extremely diverse setup. This is not one you just look at and this is kind of what's going to happen and move on. A lot of moving parts. But I'd definitely be ready for this possibility through Tuesday night over Central Texas and Eastern Texas. Into Wednesday, possibly, all the way into Mississippi. Looks to be a 24-hour period there where this line is going to be possible of many different forms of severe weather. But thank you everybody who watched. Y'all have a nice day, and I'm out of here.